He made a decision about you before you made one about him. That is the opening fact of this reading, and I want to let it sit for a moment before we go anywhere else. Not as flattery, as the specific, energetically grounded, completely accurate description of where things actually stand in the private interior of this person's life, while you have been navigating the uncertainty of what this is or what it could be, or whether the connection you feel is as present on his side as it is on yours. He has been somewhere else entirely. He has been decided, the specific, settled, I have thought about this from every angle and arrived at the same place quality of someone who has not been uncertain about you for a significant period of time, who entered the territory of uncertainty about you earlier, resolved it earlier, and has been living inside the resolution ever since, while the official acknowledgement of that resolution has been taking longer than the resolution itself. He knows what he wants. He wants you specifically, permanently, in the form that permanent actually means. I want to speak to who this person is before I speak to what they feel, because who they are shapes everything about why this reading carries the weight it carries. This is not someone for whom decisions are made casually. The specific quality of wealth and the specific quality of success that this person carries did not arrive accidentally. They arrived through a particular relationship with decision making, through the capacity to assess situations with clarity, to identify what matters and what does not, to commit to directions with the kind of sustained follow through quality that produces results in the real world rather than simply in the internal landscape of intention. This is someone who knows how to decide and who has learned through the specific, sometimes costly education of making significant decisions across a life that has required many of them to trust their own assessment of what is real and what is valuable and what is worth committing to. He assessed you not quickly, not casually, with the same quality of attention and the same rigor of evaluation that he brings to anything he considers committing to. He looked at who you are and how you move through the world and what you carry and what you bring to everything you touch. And he concluded, let me describe what the conclusion actually is. Because wife is in the title, and that word deserves the honesty of full examination rather than being allowed to float as a vague romantic aspiration. He has placed you in his future, not the imagined future of someone who is daydreaming about a pleasant possibility. The planned future of someone who operates in the world with the specific practical quality of someone who understands that the things you want require active cultivation of the conditions that allow them to happen, who does not simply wait for things to arrive, but who moves in the direction of what he intends and arranges the circumstances that make the intention achievable. He is arranging, not dramatically, not in ways that are visible to you from where you are standing in the current relationship between you, in the patient, deliberate, I am building towards something way of someone who understands that certain arrivals cannot be rushed without damaging the quality of what arrives. He is building toward you at his own pace, with his own understanding of what the right moment looks like and what needs to be in place before he brings what he has decided into the official space between you. He is building toward you at his own pace, with his own understanding of what the right moment looks like and what needs to be in place before he brings what he has decided into the official space between you. I want to describe what building toward someone looks like when the person doing the building operates the way this person operates, because it is not passive. It is not simply waiting for the right moment to arrive on its own. It is active in a specific, deliberate, almost architectural way. He is creating conditions, not manufacturing a particular impression of himself, creating the actual conditions that would make the version of things he intends to arrive at real rather than aspirational, the practical circumstances, the personal readiness, the specific state of his own life and his own interior that would allow what he has decided to become what he does rather than what he intends. There is a difference between a man who decided he wants something and is waiting for the wanting to produce the thing, and a man who decided he wants something and is actively building the bridge between the current state and the desired state. He is the second kind. The bridge is being built. You cannot see it from your position because it is being built from his side. But when it reaches you, it will arrive fully constructed, not as an idea or a proposal that requires your participation to become real, as something already solid enough to walk across. I want to speak to what the word millionaire actually means in the context of this reading, because it can be misunderstood, and I want to be specific. The financial dimension of who this person is matters to this reading in a particular way, not as the reason he is interesting or worthy of your attention, not as a status symbol or an indicator of how impressed you should be, but as evidence of something interior that is relevant to how you understand the decision he has made about you. People who build real material abundance, the kind that comes from genuine work and genuine vision, and the sustained application of real intelligence to real problems, tend to be people who know the difference between what is and what appears to be, who have been tested enough and have encountered enough approximations of genuine things that turned out to be lesser versions, that their ability to distinguish real from performed has been significantly developed. He is not responding to a performance. He has seen enough performances to be almost immune to them. What he is responding to is something he recognizes as the genuine article, something in you that does not shift based on audience or context, that does not calibrate itself to what is most appealing in a given moment. That simply is what it is, regardless of who is watching. That quality is rare. He knows it is rare. And rare things to someone who has built a life on the accurate assessment of value are not treated as ordinary. Let me speak to what specifically attracted him, because attraction in a person of this particular depth is not simple, and it deserves its specific examination. He noticed your mind first, not your appearance, though that is present in his awareness and it matters to him. The specific quality of how you think, how you engage with problems, how you respond to information you disagree with versus information you are encountering for the first time versus information that confirms something you already knew but had not been able to articulate. The particular intelligence that lives not in the display of knowledge but in the quality of the processing. He is a man who uses his mind professionally, who has been around other people who use their minds professionally, and who has developed a specific, finely calibrated sensitivity to the difference between real intellectual substance and the performance of intellectual substance. What he found in you is the real kind. And then, underneath the mind, something that surprised him. The warmth, not because he expected coldness, But because the combination of genuine intelligence and genuine warmth is considerably less common than either alone, the world tends to sort these. People with significant intellectual capacity are often defended, often slightly withholding, often operating at a remove from the emotional warmth that would make them fully approachable. And people with genuine warmth sometimes carry it at the expense of a certain rigor of perspective. You carry both fully, without one compromising the other. He had not encountered that combination before he encountered you. I want to speak to where things stand between you right now, because the reading is about where this is going, and understanding where it currently is provides the necessary context. There is a gap between his internal decision and the official expression of it. That gap exists for a reason that is specific and worth understanding, rather than simply noting as a frustrating distance to be crossed. He is not uncertain about what he wants. He is careful about how he arrives at it. There is an important distinction between those two things. Uncertainty about wanting produces hesitation. Caution about approach produces patience. What you are experiencing from him, the specific quality of his engagement that may have felt like something less than the full declaration you might have expected from someone who has decided what I am describing, is not hesitation. It is patience, the specific, deliberate patience of someone who understands that the manner of arriving at something significant shapes the quality of what you arrive at, who is not willing to rush toward what he wants in ways that would compromise the integrity of the arrival, who is building toward the conversation and the commitment he intends with the same care he brings to building anything he intends to last. He is building to last. Tell me in the comments if you feel this person in your life right now. Not the specific details, whether the description of someone who is decided but patient, who is building toward something rather than rushing toward it, matches an energy you have been sensing. Whether the quality of mind first, then warmth describes someone you are already aware of, I want to know how this reading is landing. I want to speak to something about you that this reading is pointing toward, and that I think is the most important piece of it. You are someone he believes he has to earn, not someone he expects to simply claim, not someone he has assessed as available and has decided to acquire in the transactional, entitled way that people with significant resources sometimes relate to things they want. Something fundamentally different from that. He understands that you are someone who requires earning. Not because you are difficult or unreasonable or the kind of person who tests for the sake of testing, because the specific quality of what you are, the authentic combination of intelligence and warmth and genuine self-possession that he has been responding to, is the kind of quality that only belongs to a person who knows their own worth. And people who know their own worth are not available to someone simply because that someone has decided to want them. They require the specific, sustained, actually demonstrated through action form of earning that words alone cannot produce. He knows this, and he is prepared to do it. This is not a small thing. Men of his capability and his resources are not accustomed to having to earn things. The access that material success provides tends to make the world somewhat easier to navigate. Things become more available. Doors open more readily. The friction that other people experience in the pursuit of what they want is reduced for someone who operates from a position of significant resource. You have not reduced the friction, and he respects that about you more than you know. You have not reduced the friction, and he respects that about you more than you know. I want to describe what that respect actually looks like and how he engages with you. Because respect of this kind, the respect of someone who is genuinely accustomed to having the world accommodate them, encountering someone who is not accommodating themselves to him, has a specific, recognizable quality. He is more careful around you than he is around most people. Not nervous, careful, the specific, deliberate quality of someone who is aware that they are in the presence of something that will not simply yield to charm or resource or the usual signals of status that tend to produce a particular response in most contexts. He is paying attention in a way he is not usually required to pay attention, because his usual ways of navigating the world toward what he wants are not the relevant tools here. The relevant tool is simply being genuinely himself, actually showing up as what he is rather than as what he projects, actually offering what he has rather than performing what he has. And that particular challenge, the challenge of having to be real rather than impressive, is one that he has been finding both difficult and more compelling than almost anything he has encountered in a long time. You make him want to be real. That is the specific, unusual, worth noting quality of what you produce in someone of his particular profile. Let me speak to what one day in the title actually means, because one day is a phrase that can mean very different things depending on the quality of the intention behind it. In some mouths, one day means eventually, someday, maybe, in a hypothetical future that exists as a pleasant idea without a plan attached to it. That is not how it lives in him. In him, one day is a timeline, not a specific date, but a genuine forward projection of someone who has decided that a particular outcome is what he is working toward and who is organizing his choices, including choices that may not be obviously connected to you, in alignment with that projection. He is not just thinking about you as his wife someday. He is conducting himself as someone who is going to have a wife like you someday, making the kinds of decisions that a man in that position makes, developing in the directions that preparation for that life requires, becoming deliberately and with awareness the version of himself that would be worthy of what he has decided he wants. He is preparing, which is itself a form of commitment that most people overlook because it does not produce the visible, announced, officially declared commitment that people tend to recognize. But preparation is the foundation of everything that follows, and his foundation is solid. I want to address something directly that I think some of you need to hear. You are allowed to receive this, not in the greedy sense of entitlement, in the specific, deeply Virgo sense of permission, of allowing something that exceeds your current expectation to be real without immediately cataloging the reasons it should be smaller than it appears, without applying the particular form of self-protection that has in the past been the first responder when something genuinely good arrived. He is not the performance of something good. He is the actual thing. The intelligence, the success, the specific quality of someone who has done enough real work in the world to have developed the particular accurate discernment that produced his assessment of you. These are not manufactured to impress you. They are simply what he is. And what he is looked at you and saw something worth making a decision about. A permanent decision, let that be real, without qualifying it into something more comfortable or more predictable or more sized to what you were previously expecting. This is the actual size of it. This is the actual size of it. I want to stay with this for a moment because I think it is the most important thing in the reading for you specifically. The qualifying instinct, the one that wants to make things smaller before they can disappoint you, is not a character flaw. It was built in response to real experience. It developed because the full size of hoping for something and not receiving it produces a specific, costly quality of pain that the qualifying instinct was designed to reduce. But here is what the qualifying instinct cannot see from where it operates. It cannot distinguish between situations that warrant the reduction and situations that do not. It applies itself automatically, as protective mechanisms do, based on the size of what is being hoped for, rather than on the actual assessment of the specific situation. This situation does not warrant the reduction. What this person has decided about you is the size I have described, not because I am trying to make you feel good, because I am reading what is there, and what is there is the size of what I described and not something smaller. Let it be that size. The qualifying instinct will have other opportunities to serve you. This is not one of them. As we close, I want to give you the image that completes this reading. A man who knows his own mind. Standing inside a decision he made without fanfare, without announcement, in the private, settled, entirely certain space of his own interior, where he keeps the things he is most serious about. Where decisions of this magnitude live not as hopes or possibilities, but as already understood conclusions that the future will eventually confirm. He is not hoping you will be his wife. He is waiting for the version of time in which what he has already decided becomes the official reality between you. And he is being patient with the specific, completely untroubled patience of someone who has no doubt about where this is going, who understands that certain things develop at the pace they need to develop at, and who has enough respect for what he is building toward to not rush it. He has all the time in the world because he has already decided how the time ends with you.